first chapter of the Pro Shop training series, we're going to take a look at how you would log in to the locker area. So there's a number of ways in which we can do this. We're here on the demo site WordPress website. Your venue or the coaching business that you're managing the front of house of may have a website that looks like this. And you can log in to the locker area by clicking the My Locker option in the top right hand corner. Let's click that area and see what it looks like. And we can see here that we have a sign-in page with an option to enter a username and password. In the URL, we can also see the URL for the login page. And the URL will always be the coaching business or academy name, followed by locker.firstdegree.golf/login. And you can enter this URL into your website browser. Alternatively, if we go to the booking system, on the first time visit to the booking system homepage, you have a pop-up, and it's within this pop-up that you're able to enter the username and password. Also, in the top right hand corner, you have a button Login. If we go to the store area, we can also see that we have the My Locker login available in the top right hand corner. So let's have a go at logging in. We need to enter our username and our password, which would have been provided to you by your Academy manager. We're going to go ahead and hit sign in. The first page you will see will look like this, and this is the home page of the Pro Shop locker area. In the top right hand corner you have the option to log out. The bio image will be defined by your Academy manager. You then have 4 menu items: schedule, booking system, booking admin with an arrow which indicates the drop downs, and store. And then on the home page you immediately have the schedule view. So let's take a look now at how we would use the schedule view, and let's cover some scenarios in which you would use the schedule to process bookings on behalf of your Academy team. So let's take a look now at some scenarios and how we can handle this within the schedule view so that you can make bookings on behalf of your coaching team. Let's say we have a customer who calls up over the phone and they want to make a one-to-one lesson booking with a specific coach. We can use the schedule view to do this. The first thing we need to do is define the lesson duration. The customer indicates they want to make a 45-minute lesson booking, and we can do this by selecting 45 minutes from the duration. We now need to choose the coach. The customer has already indicated that they want to make a booking with Joe Bloggs. We can use the radio icon to do this. So we're going to just hover the cursor over and select Joe Bloggs. The page now refreshes and we can see Joe Bloggs' schedule below. It shows us a week by week view, and we can use the arrows to scroll across by weeks. So let's say the customer wants to make a booking the following week, and we can give him a range of times that are available that are indicated in green. Grey times indicate that the schedule isn't open. Red times indicate that a lesson has already been booked, but it is unpaid. The house icon indicates that a lesson has been booked in the studio facility. Let's go back a couple of weeks. A green time indicates a one-to-one lesson booking which has been paid for. It has been marked as paid. These black areas on the schedule indicates where the coach has added a leave to their schedule. So they've indicated here on Monday the 5th that they have time in the shop, and they've designated Thursday the 8th as a full day leave. Finally, we might find yellow bookings, and yellow bookings indicate classes. So let's go ahead now and make this booking. We're going to go ahead and make the booking on Friday the 16th, and the customer has decided they want to make the booking at 10 a.m. We can go ahead and click the green icon at 10 a.m. And we can see now there's some lesson details. It indicates the coach is available, the coach name, the date, start time and end time. We now have a few options. We can hit the icon to book now and book that slot. We can choose the quick book option, and the quick book option just allows us to define the booking under a name, a last name and a mobile. However, it won't create a customer account under this option, and we would recommend that you always use the book now option. You can also book a recurring booking, which we'll cover in a moment. But let's go ahead and book this time. So we're going to go ahead and hit book now. We now have to answer whether this is a studio lesson. We can ask the customer, and the customer indicates that they don't want the lesson in the studio. We can go ahead and hit no. We now get to the complete order screen. This is where we have to define the student. It may be that the student already has an account within the system. And you can choose students by hitting the Select Student option. You can search or select the student from the list. To select the student from the list, you would simply click the radio icon. So let's go ahead and book this lesson under a current student. And we're going to go ahead and hit book now. We can now see that the player information has been filled in with the information that's assigned to that customer's account. We then have two boxes, student notes and internal notes. Students' notes can be used to make a note that will be visible to the customer on their booking confirmation. Internal notes is a note that would only be visible to the coach. So let's go ahead and add a note. And we'll add an internal note. So the first note will be visible to the student, and the internal note will be visible to the coach. We now need to select the payment option. Depending on how your Academy's locker account has been set up, there will be different options visible here. Here we have all of the options enabled. Pay by debit or credit card. This option can only be used when the system is linked to a merchant account. Voucher, Pay at Academy, and Package. We'll cover the voucher and package options in future parts of this training series. But let's go ahead and just decide to choose the Pay at Academy option. What this means is that the booking can be processed, but it will be marked as unpaid in the schedule, and the coach will need to take payment from the customer. We now have the billing section where we have some options to apply a gift card code or a discount code. We're going to leave those blank and come on to those in the next few chapters. The final thing we need to do is we need to decide whether the customer wants to receive information via email, SMS, and whether they accept terms and conditions and privacy policies. We can see that this option has already been ticked because the customer already has an account. If the customer decides that they want to receive information via email or SMS, you can tick these options. Finally, we can review the order with the customer. We can call back to them the date, the coach, the time, and the lesson cost. And we're going to go ahead now and hit book now. We can now see that the booking has been processed. Let's take a look at the next scenario. The customer has come into our front of house area, and they've indicated that they want to make a lesson booking on a specific date. However, they're not concerned which coach takes the lesson. So let's go down here and click the button Single Day View. and the customer has indicated they want to make a booking on Sunday the 11th of August. What we can do is we can now use the arrows which will scroll by days. And all coaches' schedules are visible in this section. Again, grey times indicate that there is no lesson availability with that coach, and green indicates available times. We can now tell the customer that we have coach number 3 available at a range of times on Sunday the 11th. So let's go ahead and choose 9 AM. And we're going to go ahead and click Book Now. The customer wants to have this lesson in the studio, and we can go ahead and click Yes. We know the studio is available as there is no house icon visible or crossed out on the green time. So let's tick Yes. And we're now going to go and complete the order, but this time we're going to add some player information. We can do that one of two ways. We can add the new student using the modal, or we can complete the player information section just here. We're going to ask the customer for an email address. And we can create them a username and password. The customer will receive a copy of the username on an account registration email. However, they won't receive a copy of the password. Therefore, it's a good idea to get the customer to create this, or you can inform them of the password that they're going to set, that you've set. They can then log back into their account and change the password at a future date. Or they can use the email address and username to retrieve the password in the sign in area. Let's go and set a password. We're going to take a mobile number. Once again, we can add student notes or internal notes. And there's no payment option now that is visible on this booking. The reason being that the lesson price has been set to 0. Anytime that a lesson price has been set to 0, there won't be a payment option that will be visible. We can go down now to the billing section and we'll leave the gift card code and the discount code blank. And we're going to go ahead and ask the customer if they want to receive information via email, SMS, and whether they agree to the terms and conditions and privacy policies. If you click these two icons, it will take you to the relevant page, and you can allow the customer to read this information. Let's go ahead and tick that they agree, and we can review the order with them, and we're going to go ahead and hit Book Now. That order has now been processed and added to the schedule. Let's now take a look at our next scenario. We have a customer who's come into our front of house area, and they've indicated that they want to make a one-to-one lesson booking with their coach, but they have a package of lessons on account. So, we would follow the same process in order to find the lesson time. The customer has indicated they want to make a 60-minute booking with Coach Joe Bloggs, and we've given them the option that the next available date is Monday the 12th of August. They want to book 4 o'clock, so let's go ahead and select that time and hit Book Now. We're going to ask the customer if they want this in the studio, and they've indicated no. As the customer has indicated that they have a package of lessons, it's likely that they're going to have an account on the system. So we can go ahead and hit Select Student and ask for their name. And we can go ahead and hit the radio icon and hit Book Now. We can see that the information has already been filled in, and we can add some student notes or an internal note for the coach. But we now need to choose the payment option, and the customer has indicated they've already got lessons on account. On this drop down, you will either see the option Voucher or Packages. In this option, the customer has lesson credits, which is a package option. Let's go ahead and choose the package option. We can now see that we have package selected with the red arrow next to it. We need to hit the red arrow. We can now see a list of packages with the coach. We're going to go ahead and select the middle one. 1 credit is effective to 1 lesson minute. Therefore, we have here a 1-hour lesson booking, which means that we need 60 credits to complete the booking. The 40-minute credits, if we try to apply it, would mean that there's not enough credits to be applied to the booking. We can see now that it's stated that there's insufficient credits, and the customer would need to top up their credits through the coach or by purchasing credits in the store. We'll cover this in a future chapter. However, let's choose a different package. The middle one has 150 total credits remaining. We're now going to click Apply, and we can see how a package number has been inserted into the box. We can now go ahead and complete the order by clicking Book Now. We can now see that the order has been completed. This customer had 150 credits in their account, and we applied 60 credits to complete the booking, which means the customer would now have 90 credits remaining. We're now going to focus on a scenario where a customer has come into our front of house area and they want to make a booking with their coach using a voucher. So we've already discussed in previous parts of the training series and in other tutorials how your Academy Manager will have decided whether you're going to be processing packages or vouchers. So let's focus on how we would handle a voucher booking. So our client has indicated that they want to book a 45-minute lesson with Coach Joe Bloggs. We've given the customer some availability, and we're going to go ahead and book 11 AM on the 16th. We'll choose the green time, and we're going to go ahead and hit Book Now. We now need to find the student from the system. As the customer has vouchers of lessons, these vouchers have either been bought on the store by the customer themselves or been processed by the coach. Therefore, a student account would already be made on the locker system. So let's go ahead and find that customer. We hit the radio icon, and we're going to go ahead and hit Book Now, and the information will be completed in the player information area. We're now going to go down to the payment drop-down, and this time we're going to go ahead and select Voucher. We're going to hit the red arrow, and we can now see a list of vouchers that are available to apply to the booking. This is now a good opportunity to clarify how voucher lessons can be used within the system. We can see here that we have the lesson type, which is defined as one-to-one and Swing Studio. Therefore, if you have a customer with a voucher, it's important that you know what lesson type these vouchers can be applied to. If the customer has these vouchers defined as a one-to-one lesson voucher, you cannot use these on an alternative program category within the booking system. You cannot also use it when the coach name is defined as a specific coach. And you can also only apply a voucher booking to a specific lesson time. This is one of the key differences between vouchers and packages. Packages allow you to apply specific lesson credits to a flexible amount of lesson time. However, when you're using a voucher operation, it means you have to apply specific vouchers to a specific lesson time. So in this instance, we can see that we have the correct lesson type, the coach name is correct, and we have a 45-minute lesson voucher. Therefore, we can go ahead and select the radio icon, and we're going to go ahead and hit Return. You can see now how the code has been added to the voucher number. We can now go ahead and hit Book Now. That lesson has now been processed into the system, and one lesson voucher will have been taken off the customer's account. We're now going to move on to look at a scenario that we may face when we're processing bookings on behalf of our coaching team, which is where a customer wants to make a booking on consecutive days or weeks. So let's go with the scenario where a customer wants to make a 30-minute lesson booking with Coach Joe Bloggs at 6 PM for 4 consecutive Fridays. So, We've already checked the system and we've checked that the coach is available for 4 consecutive Fridays. We need to go ahead and select the first lesson date, which is 6 p.m. In our lesson detail screen, we're now going to use the book recurring option. And we need to choose the lesson duration, which is 4. We then need to select whether that's going to be split over days, weeks, or months. We're going to go ahead and select weeks, and the repeat type is repeat weekly. We're then going to go ahead and choose continue. We now need to choose the student. We can see down the right we now have the information that we're about to process, the date of the first lesson, the coach, the start time and the end time, followed by the recurring dates, the cost per lesson and the total cost for the booking. We now need to choose the payment mode. We can, in this option, either select pay by debit or credit card, or we can choose pay at Academy. In this process, we're unable to apply at this point a voucher or a package. However, in the following chapters of the training series and other tutorials, we show you how to apply a package or voucher to a specific lesson booking once it's added to the schedule, which we can do once we've processed these recurring dates. So let's go ahead and choose Pay at Academy, and we're going to go ahead and hit Book Now. We can now see that that booking has been processed and added to the schedule. We're now going to focus on how we would use the Quick Book function within the schedule. The Quick Book function is there for you to be able to book a lesson into the schedule without creating a customer account for a pupil. It is recommended that you use the Book Now option and you proceed to the checkout and you create a customer account for a pupil. However, there may be scenarios where a customer doesn't want an account created. However, they want to have a lesson booked into the schedule, and you can use the Quick Book function to do this. To use the Quick Book function, you need to follow the same process that you would follow to book a lesson in the schedule by finding the lesson time, the coach, and the appropriate lesson option in the schedule. To use the Quick Book option, you simply need to click the green time and hit Quick Book. In the Quick Book option, the only information you will need is the first name, last name, and a contact number for the coach. Once that information is complete, you can click Add and Book. And we can see now that the booking has been added to the schedule with the mobile number visible on the schedule. We're now going to move on to look at how we would handle the scenario within the system where we need to book a lesson retrospectively into a coach's diary. So to handle this, we need to navigate away from the schedule and into the booking system. In the top right hand corner we can see the option to book a lesson in the past. By clicking this button we then have a modal where we're able to select the coach, the student, the lesson date. We can see here on the calendar that the current date is Saturday the 24th of August. We'll only be using this option when we need to book a lesson in the past, so therefore we're going to choose Friday the 23rd. We're going to select the lesson duration and a start time and end time. We then need to hit save. And the lesson has been booked successfully. We need to remember though that we need to navigate back to the schedule and we need to update the paid status of the lesson. So if we click on the coach, Joe Bloggs, we can see that the lesson has been booked yesterday at 3:30 p.m. However, the lesson is indicated as red, meaning that it's currently marked as unpaid. We would therefore go into the lesson and mark the lesson as paid and update the paid status. And we can see how it changes to green. We're now going to focus on how we would handle the scenario where a customer wants to specifically make a lesson booking in the studio. In many instances, a studio space will be limited to one customer per booking. Therefore, within the system, once the studio is booked, it is unable to be booked again for the same lesson time. The system allows you to easily identify the times that are available in the studio. You can either do this by selecting the coach or navigating to single day view depending on the customer's requirements. The customer has indicated they want to make a studio booking with Coach Joe Bloggs. Therefore, we can go ahead and choose Joe Bloggs. We're going to navigate across to the following week. And we can look across the schedule here and identify studio times that are available by looking within the green times. We can see here that at 10 AM there is an icon with an X. This indicates that this time is currently booked in the studio. Times that are green with no icon in the centre means that the lesson time is available to be booked in the studio. By selecting the icon and attempting to book the lesson in the studio, we can see that an alert appears indicating that this time is not available for a studio booking. By selecting a green time without a studio icon with a cross through it and hitting Book Now and choosing Yes, we're able to proceed with the booking. Select the student, choose the payment option, and hit Book Now. And that lesson time will now be booked into the coach's diary and the studio. We're now going to move on to handle a scenario within the system of how we would process a booking on a class. We've already covered how we would use the schedule area to process one-to-one lesson bookings. However, to process class bookings, we need to select the booking system in the top right-hand corner. The customer has indicated that they want to make a booking on a golf camp. And if we go to the coach named Joe Bloggs, we can find this class by going to the appropriate date, and we can observe the yellow times in the schedule. This indicates that there's a class booking. If we click on the class, we can see the information relating to the class, the dates, the program type, and the coach name. We now need to find this class within the booking system under the program type Your Junior Group Class. So let's go up to the booking system, select Your Junior Group Class, and we're going to go ahead and select Golf Camps. We can do this by either hitting the image or by selecting it from the drop-down. We can now see that we have the class listed. It tells us the name of the class, the start date, the duration, the places that have been booked, and the price per place. We can also view this class in a calendar view, and we can see that the 3 days of the class are visible here on the schedule. So let's go ahead and process this. We can do this by either in the calendar view, clicking on the class and hit Add to Cart. Or in the list view, we can go to the Class Details button and again hit Add to Cart. It's actually at this point that we can either check out and process the booking or continue in the booking system. And we would use this option if the customer wanted to reserve another place on a different class. You're unable in one transaction to reserve multiple places. So let's go ahead and check out. To do that, we need to click on the basket and hit Checkout. We now need to decide whether this is a new customer or a customer that already exists within the system. Let's go ahead and select a customer within the system. We now need to choose the payment option. Similar to previous chapters, we could process any of these depending on the operation at our academy. But we're going to go ahead and choose Pay at Academy. We now need to process the booking by hitting Book Now. And we can now see that that place has been reserved. If we navigate back to the booking system and we choose your junior group class, select golf camps, we can now see that 2 places have been booked on that class. We're now going to move on to look at a scenario where we need to apply a discount code to a booking. The discount codes are generated by the Academy Manager, and it's important to remember with a discount code that a discount code can be applied to a program type that it's defined to. But a discount code cannot be set to apply to a specific coach. Therefore, it's important that your Academy Manager indicates where discount codes can be used and with what coach. So let's say that a mail campaign has gone out by your venue or your coaching business that you're managing the front of house operation for, and it's indicated that there's a 25% discount on one-to-one and swing studio bookings. We can do that through the schedule. So we've got a customer who's called up and they want to make a 2-hour booking with Coach Joe Bloggs. We've indicated that the next availability for a 2-hour lesson is Monday at 5 o'clock. And they want to proceed with the booking. So we're going to go ahead and hit Book Now. And the lesson isn't going to be in the studio. The customer already has an account, so we're going to go ahead and find the customer. And we're going to select the customer and then hit Book Now. However, we now need to apply the discount code. We're going to select the payment option as Pay at Academy. The customer is going to pay the final balance to the coach directly. However, in the billing section now, we now need to add the discount code to the discount code section. Once we've entered the text, we now need to move the cursor and click it out of the box. And we can see now, if we scroll up the page, that the discount has been deducted. 25% has been discounted from the original lesson price of £100, meaning the total lesson cost is £75. We can now go ahead and process the order by hitting Book Now. We're now going to focus on how we would handle the scenario where a customer wants to make a booking in the schedule or a class booking within the booking system using a new gift card code. Your Academy may be providing customers with virtual or physical gift cards for them to use within the system, and the system generates a gift card code assigned to this monetary amount that can be used against bookings in the system or on the store. A customer may have called up over the phone and they want to make a booking on a class, but they have a gift card code that they want to use against the booking. So firstly, we need to make sure that the customer has the code to use at the moment that we go to the checkout, or we need to retrieve this code from our Academy Manager. Let's say that the customer has the virtual gift card in front of them and they can see the gift card code that they want to use. We need to go into the schedule and find the lesson time and the coach that the lesson is going to be booked with, or we need to find the class within the booking system. Let's process a booking in the schedule. We're going to select Coach Joe Bloggs and book a lesson on Friday the 30th at 3:30. We go ahead and hit Book Now. It may be that this customer already has a locker account, in which case you can choose them from the Select Student list, or you can fill out the player information if this is a new customer. Let's go ahead and select one of these students and hit Book Now. In the payment section, we're going to choose Pay at Academy. And in the billing section now, we now need to add the gift card code. By retrieving the gift card code from the customer and entering it into the gift card code box, we then need to go ahead and hit Apply Gifts. We can see now that the gift card code has been applied successfully. By navigating up the page, we can see that the cost of the lesson is £30. The gift card amount is £100, meaning the total lesson cost is £0. The remaining balance of £70 will be automatically added to the customer's account. Let's go ahead and hit Book Now. And we can now see that the order has been processed. We're now going to take a look at how we would add a lesson to the schedule or process a class booking using a gift card code that is already assigned to a customer's account. This scenario may occur where the customer has added their gift card code to their locker account by logging in, or alternatively they have already processed a lesson or class booking in the system and the remaining gift card amount that is assigned to the gift card code has been added to their pupil locker. Therefore, firstly, we need to select the lesson time or the class that we want to process. So in this scenario, let's say the pupil wants to make a lesson booking with Joe Bloggs on Friday the 30th at 12 o'clock. We can go ahead and hit Book Now and proceed to the checkout area. We need to select the student. The student will already have a locker account as they've indicated that they have a gift card code assigned to their locker. By finding the student and navigating down to the payment option, we're going to choose Pay at Academy. And we can now see in the billing section we have the option to add the gift card code. The customer has already told us that they have used this code previously or added it to their pupil locker account. Therefore, by clicking the arrow, we should see a list of coupon codes that are already assigned to their account. We can see that there are 2 coupon codes available. The first one was originally a value of £250, £30 has been used, and there's £220 remaining. The second code only has £20 remaining. We can see that the lesson cost is £30. So let's go ahead and select the coupon code with the most balance remaining to cover the lesson cost. By selecting the checkbox and hitting Use Gifts, we can see how the code is automatically added to the gift card code section. We can now go ahead and hit Book Now. We can now see that that order has been processed. Let's take a look now at how we would process a store product on behalf of our members, pupils, or our coaching team. To begin with, you may need to process store products when a customer buys a bulk lesson purchase with one of your coaches. And you may be required to process this through the store area to ensure the accuracy of the reporting within the system and also to ensure that customers' lessons credit and vouchers are up to date. So, the scenario might occur when a customer comes into the shop or your front of house area and they want to buy a bulk lesson purchase with a coach. However, they're not ready to book. They want to make payment and ensure that the lesson credits or vouchers are added to their account. As soon as you take payment for this, you need to process this within the locker, and the coach and the customer will receive a notification. So let's go into the store area and find a product that we're going to purchase and add to a customer's account. So we're here in the store area, and in the top we have the store categories: gift cards, one-to-one and studio, and your coaching facility. We have a sliding banner and a filter, and then a categories area which shows 3 products within each of the categories. So let's go ahead and choose one of the products in the one-to-one and swing studio category. The customer has come into our front of house area and they've decided they want to buy the 150 credits with Joe Blogs. We've taken the payment for this and we now need to process the product. We need to go ahead and click the product and choose the coach, which is Joe. We can see now that the price has appeared and we now need to add to cart. In the shopping cart, we can see the product, we can see the price, and we're going to go ahead and hit checkout. As a ProShop user, we now have a list of players within the locker system. So we already have got this player within the system. Let's go ahead and select that player. We now need to go ahead and hit continue. The payment method is Pay at Academy. The Braintree option relates to a merchant account that is linked to the locker. We're going to go ahead and hit continue, confirm the player information, and confirm the order. We can now see that that order has been processed, and those credits will be added to that customer's account. We're now going to go ahead and process a store product on behalf of a customer that is new to the locker system. So the scenario may occur when a customer comes into your front of house area and they want to invest in their golf game, and they've decided that they want to invest in a bulk purchase product. You've taken the payment from the customer and you now need to process those lessons so they're added to the customer's Academy locker. The customer will then book with the coach at a later date. So let's go to the store area. We're going to go ahead and find a product. And we're going to do that from the one-to-one and swing studio option. The customer has decided to invest in a 300-minute bulk purchase. We're going to go ahead and select the product and choose the coach. And we're going to add to cart. We're going to go ahead and select to checkout. And we now need to create the student account. We do that by selecting the drop down and selecting from the bottom, Add New Player. We now need to complete the registration details. We can check the availability of the username and then create a password. Once completed, we can click continue. And then we now need to proceed with our order. And we can then confirm the order, and that has been processed successfully. The 300-minute credits will be added to that player's locker, and they have been registered on the system. The customer will receive a copy of the order, an account registration email, and the coach will also be notified of the purchase. We're going to take a look now at how we would apply a discount code to a store product. A customer has come into our front of house area and they want to take advantage of a discount code and apply it to one of the store products. We can process this on behalf of the customer to ensure that they have the correct lesson product, vouchers or credits assigned to their player locker. And importantly, it is applied with the correct price, and therefore we need to know how to apply a discount code. Let's go to the store. A customer has seen that the Academy is running a promotion with lessons that are purchased in the store with Coach Joe Blogs, and there is a specific discount code that can be used against the products. Firstly, let's go ahead and find a product to apply the discount code to. A customer has indicated that they want to purchase 150 credits with Joe for £175. We can go ahead and choose the product and select Joe from the drop down and hit Add to Cart. We now need to importantly apply the discount code so that the price is adjusted accordingly. To do this, we need to navigate to the Order Discount section, and we need to enter the discount code in the Discount Code section. The customer has told us that the discount code is £10 off Joe. We now need to hit Apply Coupon. The page will refresh and the discount will be deducted from the lesson product. We can see here that £10 has been deducted from the original lesson price of £175, and therefore the total is now £165. We can now go ahead and process the product by hitting Checkout. We can either select the student or add a new player. Let's go ahead and select one of the current students and hit Continue. We can then confirm the order. The 150 credits will now be added to the customer's account, and importantly, the system has been updated with the correct price to assign to each lesson credit that is used. Let's take a look at how we would handle applying a gift card code to a store product. Let's take a look now at the scenario where we need to process a store product on behalf of a customer, and the customer wants to use a gift card amount against this store product. So let's navigate to the store area. The customer has come into our front of house area and indicated that they want to purchase one of the One-to-One and Swing Studios store products. But they've been given a gift card and they want to apply this gift card amount to the product. Let's go ahead and find the product to begin with. We're going to go ahead and select the category One-to-One and Swing Studio. And we're going to choose the 150 credits with Joe. We can select from the drop down the coach. The cost is £175. We now need to add to the cart. The customer has indicated that they have a £250 gift card to use. We now need to apply this gift card, and we can do this by clicking on the Order Discount option. In the gift card code section, we can now add the code. After adding the code to this section, we need to hit Add Gift Card. We can now see that £175 has been deducted from the subtotal, leaving a remaining amount of £0. We now need to process the order so that this lesson product is assigned to the customer's account, and also the remaining gift card amount is added to their locker. To do this, we agree to the terms and conditions and hit Checkout. We can either select a current student or add a new player. Let's go ahead and select a current student and hit Continue. By confirming the order, the 150 credits will be added to the customer's account. The gift card amount will be used against this store booking, and the remaining amount will be added to the customer's locker to use in the future. We're now going to move on to look at a number of scenarios for lessons that are already booked into the schedule, either by the coach, the front of house team, or pupils. So let's firstly bring up one of the coach's schedules. We can see here under Coach Joe Blogs that we have a number of bookings that have already been made into the diary. Let's firstly talk over the colours that we're going to see within the schedule. Yellow times indicate classes within the schedule. The black parts of the schedule indicate leaves. The green and red times relate to one-to-one lesson bookings. Green times indicate lessons that have been marked as paid. which we can see by clicking on the lesson, and in the lesson detail screen it is marked as paid. Red times indicate lessons that are not currently marked as paid within the system. So firstly, let's cover some of the scenarios where you need to go in and mark a lesson time as paid. And we're going to work with these red times we can see on the schedule. Let's go ahead and choose John Stevens. John has a lesson with Coach Joe Bloggs at 9 AM and he comes into your front of house area and pays you directly with cash. We now need to mark this lesson as paid. So we're going to go into the lesson, and in the lesson detail screen we're going to hit mark as paid. We're going to choose update. We now need to define the payment type. It's important to remember that whenever a customer pays you directly, either by cash or on a credit or debit card, you mark it as paid as cash within the drop-down. PDQ relates to payments that have been made online or through the merchant account on the reporting section. So always mark payments as cash when they are paid directly to you. And you're going to go ahead and hit save. We can see now how that lesson time has changed to green. Let's cover another scenario using Barry Stevens as an example. If we click on Barry Stevens, we're going to mark it as paid and the customer pays by PDQ. But they want to be sent a receipt of this payment by the coach. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the notes section. And we're going to make a note that the coach can see. And we'll go ahead and hit save, and we'll mark it as paid. So that lesson has now been marked as paid, and there's a note for the coach to see that relates to the payment and the request made by the customer. We're now going to take a look at how we would find a lesson booking within the schedule using a customer's name. You may encounter scenarios where customers come into your front of house area or over the phone and they can't remember the date, time, or the coach that they're having their lesson with. To retrieve this information, you need to go to the booking admin area and you go to Player Upcoming Lessons. In this section, you can simply type the player name and hit search. We can see now that this customer has a lesson booking on the 30th of August at 8 o'clock for an hour with Coach Joe Bloggs. Let's now move on to look at another couple of scenarios to mark lessons as paid within the schedule. We're going to go to the Barry Stevens lesson at 2 PM. Barry has indicated that he currently has lessons on account with the coach, and he wants to use these lessons on account with the lesson booking so that it can be marked as paid within the schedule. So we're going to go to Barry Stevens' lesson, and in the lesson detail screen we're going to choose change payment type. Currently the payment type is cash, however we want to change this to the lesson credits or vouchers. So we're going to choose change payment type. And we're then going to choose packages. And we can see how this customer has a package on account. The lesson type is one-to-one and swing studio. The coach name is Joe Bloggs. The package code, the original credits that were purchased and the remaining credits. So this customer has enough credits in their account to cover this lesson booking. We can go ahead and choose this option by hitting the radio icon and hit update. And we now need to choose continue. The screen now refreshes, and if we go back to Joe Bloggs, we can see that the lesson Barry Stevens has been marked as paid. It's now green. we can see that the payment type has been changed to package. Let's take a look now at how we would handle the scenario where we need to update the paid status of a customer who has booked onto a class. A customer has come into our front of house area and they've made a payment directly to us for a class booking. And we need to go into that class and update the class and the pupil information so the coach is aware that the customer has made payment. So firstly, we need some information from the customer. We need to know the date that the class is taking place or the coach who is delivering the class. If this customer does not have this information, we can go into the booking admin and the view classes section. However, the customer has told us that Coach Joe Bloggs is running the class and it's on the 24th of August. Therefore, we can go down into the schedule and we can find the class indicated as yellow in the schedule. We can go ahead and click on the correct class and choose attendees. It's within this section that we can now update the paid status. We're going to find the player name, who is Daniel Evans, and we scroll across to the right and we need to tick the paid icon. Once we hit the paid icon, we can now hit update, and we now need to choose the payment type. We need to remember that a payment that is made either in cash or through a PDQ machine directly to the front of house team or the coach will always be marked as cash within the system. PDQ option is only ever used if the payment gateway on the system is used to process the payment. So we're going to choose cash and hit save. We can now see that the paid status has been updated successfully. And we can hit cancel or the X, and the coach will be able to see that that payment status has been updated. Let's take a look now at the scenario where a customer wants to delete their lesson from the schedule. We need to firstly choose the coach, which is selected as Joe Bloggs, and we then need to find the lesson in the schedule. To delete the lesson, we simply need to select the lesson time, and within the lesson detail screen we can go ahead and hit delete lesson. We can confirm that we want to delete the lesson schedule page will refresh, and we can see then that the lesson will be deleted from the schedule. This lesson time is now available to be booked. This customer, Steve Briggs, wants to move their lesson in the schedule. They want to move it to the following Friday at the same time. To do this, we can simply select on the lesson time and hit Move Lesson. We can choose the lesson date that we want to move it to, and we can see that we can change the start time. However, we can't change the end time as the lesson is already defined as 1 hour. If the customer wants to change the length of lesson, you will need to delete the lesson and then rebook the lesson in the schedule. But let's go ahead and move this lesson to the following Friday for the same start time and for the same duration. And then we can go ahead and hit save. The schedule will be updated. We can see now how the lesson has disappeared, and if we navigate to the following week, we can see how the lesson has been moved and it's still marked as unpaid in the schedule. We can see here on the Friday the 23rd that we have some green lesson times indicating that the lesson has been marked as paid. The customer, Barry Stevens, has rung up and said that unfortunately he can no longer make his lesson and we need to remove it from the schedule. However, we need to remember that this customer has already paid for the lesson and they will be due this lesson sometime in the future to use on the schedule again. When we click on the lesson, we need to use the reschedule option. The reschedule option means that this lesson will be put back into the player's account, and this can be used in the future. By simply hitting delete lesson, it will delete the lesson from the schedule, and these lesson credits will not be on the player's account to use in the future. Let's choose reschedule and confirm. And we now have a modal that appears indicating that the voucher or credits has been successfully sent to the player's account. And we can see that the lesson has now been removed from the schedule. Let's take a look now at how we would handle the scenario where we need to add a note to a lesson that's scheduled within the system. A customer has phoned up and they have indicated that they have a lesson on Friday the 30th with Coach Joe Bloggs. By selecting the coach and navigating to the appropriate date, we can see the lesson in the diary here at 8 p.m. The customer has decided that they want to focus on their chipping during the lesson, having previously indicated to the coach that they wanted to have a lesson on putting. Therefore, we can add a note to this booking so the coach is aware that they want to make a change to the lesson focus or location. To do this, we click on the lesson and we hit Edit Notes. Once we've added the note, we can hit Save, and the internal note has been updated successfully. By clicking on the lesson, we can see how we have the internal note visible now. We're now going to move on to look at how we would add leaves to coaches' diaries and how we would delete these leaves from their schedule. So, as the front of house team, you may be responsible for managing your coaching team's schedule. And from time to time, your coach or the coaches may require you to block out part of their schedule when they are unavailable to teach. And we do this through the leave function. Let's select a coach and bring up their schedule. We can see that Coach Joe Bloggs has grey times where he has set his schedule to indicate that he is unavailable to teach. The green times indicate that he is available to teach within these periods, and these can be booked by you or by pupils on the booking system. However, the coach may want to block out these available times as they are unavailable to teach during these periods. But they don't want to use the schedule section within the coach locker. Therefore, we can use leaves to do this. Let's firstly look at the scenario where a coach requires you to block out a period within their diary on a day. So, Coach Joe Bloggs wants to block out 3 hours on his diary on Wednesday between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. We can do this by going to his schedule, by selecting him as the coach, selecting Add Leave, and then in the leave type we can choose one of three options. We can choose Short Leave, Management Meeting, or Other. So let's show you what this is going to look like on the schedule. If we choose Short Leave, we can define the leave date, we can select a start time, an end time, and a leave note. And then we can hit Save. We can see now how that short leave has been added within those times. And on the schedule it appears as short leave. Let's add another one. And this time we're going to choose Management Meeting. We're going to choose the date. And again we can define the start time and the end time. And hit Save. We can see that this has now been added to the schedule as Management Meeting. Finally, let's choose Other. Within Other, we can add a description to specify what the leave relates to. Again, we define the date, the start time and the return time. and hit save. And we can see now on the schedule that we have the description that appears on the schedule. So there's three options to block out a set period of time on a coach's schedule. The short leave and management meeting will be defined as those titles on the schedule, and then what the leave relates to will be visible in the leave notes. However, it's more common that you may use the other option, where you can define the leave on the schedule, so this can be viewed by the front of house team and the coach. Let's now take a look at how we would add a full day leave to a coach's schedule. So coach number 2 has asked us to block out the whole day on their schedule, as they are now unavailable to teach. And we can do this in a couple of ways. We're going to go ahead and block out Friday the 23rd and also Thursday the 22nd for the purpose of this video. And there's two ways that we can do this. If we go to add leave, we can choose the full day leave option. We can choose the leave date and the end date, which is going to be 1 day. And we can then go ahead and hit save. A full day leave will now be added to Thursday the 22nd. We can see how it's blocked out for the entire day. However, it's titled as full day leave, and the coach or your front of house team will have to view the leave notes to know why there's a leave in the schedule. Alternatively, again, you could choose other, and you can add a description. Define the leave date. Start time and return time would be the end of the day, and hit save. And we can see now how the whole day has been added as a leave, with the title day off added to the leave itself within the schedule. The final option within the leave options is a half day leave. So let's go ahead to the following week for coach number 2. And coach number 2 has indicated that they're only going to do a half day on Monday the 26th. So we can use the half day option to do this. If we choose half day, the leave date, the start time, and the return time, and hit save. We can see now how that's been added to the schedule as a half day leave. And again, the coach or your front of house team would need to view the notes to understand what that leave relates to. Let's now move on to take a look at how you would delete leaves from a coach's schedule. We're going to use Coach Joe Bloggs as an example. Coach Joe Bloggs has asked us to delete a leave from his schedule. So we need to choose him as a coach, and we need to navigate down to the schedule and find the correct day. Coach Joe Bloggs no longer needs the leave management meeting in his schedule. He's now available to teach. So to simply delete a leave, we need to click on the leave itself, and we need to hit edit. And we can choose the delete option at the bottom and confirm that we want to delete the leave. We can now see that the management meeting leave has been deleted from Coach Joe's blog schedule, and that the times are now green, meaning he's now available to teach. We're now going to move on to look at how we would handle a number of scenarios relating to classes within the system. To begin with, we're going to take a look at how we would handle a customer who wants to be deleted or removed from a class. To do this, we need to navigate up to the Booking Admin section and choose View Classes. Within this section, we're able to filter by the program type, so we can ask the customer what the class relates to. If we choose the Your Junior Group classes, we can go ahead and hit View, and it will filter the classes by the program type. The customer has indicated that they're booked on to Saturday the 24th of August, 3 p.m. till 4 p.m. We can go ahead now and hit the edit icon in the right hand side. Within this section, we're able to delete the player by hitting attendees. And we can find the player from the list. So here we can see that there's one player on the class. To delete the player, we need to go across to the delete player column and hit the button and hit continue. We can now see that the pupil has been successfully removed from the class. Let's focus now on how we would find username and email address associated with a customer's account. It's important that we understand how to retrieve this information, as customers, pupils or members may need assistance in accessing their Academy locker. If we go to the login page, in order for a customer to sign into their account, they require their username and password. Importantly, the username is associated to an email address. If the customer forgets this information, they can retrieve the password and username by entering their email address. Therefore, we can inform the customer of this information within the ProShop area. To do this, we need to navigate to the Booking Admin area and choose the All Students section. Tony Roberts has come into our front of house area and indicated that he's having trouble logging into his account, and he requires his username. We can give him his username by clicking on the edit icon, and we can see the username visible. We're unable to edit the username, but we can provide this username to Tony and provide him with the correct email address associated with his account so that he can reset his password using this information. Due to data protection laws, you're unable to access the customer's password. We're now going to take a look at why we would use the reschedule option that's available within a class booking. So let's go ahead and find a class within the Booking Admin area. If we go to View Classes, and we're going to choose the Your Adult Group classes, and we're going to hit View. We're going to go ahead and choose Saturday the 24th of August at 1 p.m. If we click on the attendees, we can see that we have two attendees, Tom Roberts and Daniel Evans. We have three options within this section: the option to reschedule a player, move to another class, or delete a player. Let's take a look at why we would use the reschedule player option. We go back to the schedule and find this booking. And we click on the class and choose attendees. We can see that we have the two players. Tom Roberts is not currently marked as paid within the system. Therefore, this customer needs to pay the coach or the academy for his place on the class. However, Daniel Evans has paid for the class. We can see here that he's paid and his payment type is cash. Therefore, if Daniel Evans called up or came into our front of house area and wanted to be removed from the class, he can no longer make this class booking and isn't sure when he can attend another class. This is where we would need to use the reschedule option. By hitting reschedule, it means that this lesson credit would be added to Daniel Evans' account for him to use in the future and also for the coach or the academy's records. Simply by hitting delete player, this would mean that there wouldn't be a record of Daniel Evans paying for this class. So, let's go and remove and reschedule Daniel Evans from the class. We go into Booking Admin, View Classes, find the class, find the attendee, and hit Reschedule, and we hit Continue. We now have a pop-up that indicates that this has been successfully rescheduled and the voucher or credit has been sent to the player's account. We're going to take a look now at how we would send messages to attendees of classes. As the front of house team, You may be asked by your coaching team or your academy manager to contact class attendees with information about their class that might be upcoming. And you can do this within the schedule view. So firstly, we need to find the class within the schedule. We can do that by selecting the coach, or we can choose single day view and navigate to the correct date. We know that the class is running on Saturday, the 24th of August. So let's choose single day view. We need to message the attendees in the class at 1 p.m. To do this, we click on the class and we choose the option Send Message to Attendees. Within here, we can create a subject and add the text. This message will go to all of the attendees using the email address listed on their account. So let's choose Send Message to Attendees, enter a subject, Once completed, we can go ahead and hit send. The message has now been sent to all of the attendees. Your academy may be utilising the member levels that is built within the system. These member levels allows your academy to assign different benefits to different customers within the system. You may be responsible for managing these member levels and upgrading or downgrading memberships where appropriate. And you can handle doing this within the ProShop area. To do this, you need to go across to the booking admin and choose All Students. It is likely that you are going to be adjusting a specific user within the system. Alternatively, you can filter by different member levels. Let's go ahead and choose a customer. We can view the current user's member level by clicking on the edit icon. We can see that the membership is currently a basic account. Basic account is the lowest level of membership. We are required to upgrade this customer to a level 3 member. To do this, we simply need to change the membership level to level 3 and hit save. By searching for the customer again, we can see now that the days on the membership is 366, 1 year and 1 day from today. After this period, the customer's account will automatically be reset to basic. Let's now handle a scenario where we need to change the days remaining on a membership. Let's use Demo Level 2 as an example. We can see here that Demo Level 2 has 162 days remaining on their membership. We're going to adjust the days remaining. By clicking on the icon, we can see that the membership expiry is the 2nd of February 2020. We're going to extend this to the end of April. By changing the date in the membership expiry section and hitting save, we can see now that the days on membership has been adjusted. Finally, we need to look at how we would downgrade a member. Let's use Demo Level 3 as an example. Demo Level 3 has 162 days on their membership. However, our Academy manager has asked us to downgrade them to a basic member within the system. By clicking on the icon and simply choosing Basic Account and hitting Save, you will see a modal where it will indicate that you cannot change and downgrade the membership. However, to downgrade the membership, you simply need to choose the days remaining and choose 1 day in the past. Currently on the calendar we can see that the membership expires the 2nd of February 2020. Today's date, indicated on the calendar, is the 24th of August. By clicking the 23rd and hitting save, we can see now that Demo Level 3 days on membership has adjusted to 0, and their account has automatically been reset to basic. We're going to now take a look at how we would update the contact information of a student that exists within the system. This is important as these are the methods by which you will contact customers regarding the activity at your academy, and also where the automated confirmations are set in relation to bookings, reminders, or store purchases. So to update student information, you simply need to navigate to the Booking Admin section and select All Students. This section will list all of the students that have accounts at your academy. You can search for the student, or you can separate students by member levels. Let's go ahead and search for a student. William has indicated that he wants to update his email address and his mobile number. So to do this, we just need to go to the edit icon. In the player details section, we can update the email address by deleting the current email and adding a new email address. And adding a new mobile number or contact number. Once completed, we can go ahead and hit save. Let's focus now on how we would find username and email address associated with a customer's account. It's important that we understand how to retrieve this information, as customers, pupils or members may need assistance in accessing their academy locker. If we go to the login page, in order for a customer to sign into their account, they require their username and password. Importantly, the username is associated to an email address. If the customer forgets this information, they can retrieve the password and username by entering their email address. Therefore, we can inform the customer of this information within the ProShop area. To do this, we need to navigate to the Booking Admin area and choose the All Students section. Tony Roberts has come into our front of house area and indicated that he's having trouble logging into his account, and he requires his username. We can give him his username by clicking on the edit icon, and we can see the username visible. We're unable to edit the username, but we can provide this username to Tony and provide him with the correct email address associated with his account so that he can reset his password using this information. Due to data protection laws, you're unable to access the customer's password. We're now going to focus on how we would delete a student from the system. From time to time, customers may want to have their information and accounts deleted, and in line with recent data protection laws, the customer has the right to withdraw their consent to have this data on the system. To do this, you simply need to navigate to the Booking Admin and choose All Students. You can either search for the student or filter by member level. Let's quickly search for a student. To delete the student, all we now need to simply do is choose the delete icon on the right. You'll be asked to confirm, and then by pressing continue, the student's account will be deleted.